I was thinking about Winnie-the-Pooh, and as I was thinking about Winnie-the-Pooh, I thought, well, what would it be like if I wrote a Winnie-the-Pooh, but not Winnie-the-Pooh, but
Sure.
through me, because
Hmm.
I, what kind of story would I write if I wrote sort of an episodic
Yeah.
um, story of two friends and talking animals? So I have this thing that I hated talking animals for forever, and I would never write a talking animal. Never, never. There will never be any talking animals by Amy Timberlake. And then, of course, the truth is that more than anything, I wanted to write a talking animal book. Like, I think sometimes I think the
Right.
things that you're really
Yeah.
saying, that you really say you'll never do, there's something deep there that you actually sort of want to.
You have to work
So I
on
think
and fight. Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
think that there's the voice of me as the writer, and there's a voice of the book, which is a different thing. And
Yeah.
then there's the voice of the characters, which are
Right.
also different. And until they are their own people or their own animals with their own thought processes and the way they approach things, I mean, that's also like part of it too. So you find out that, I mean, and for me, like Skunk and Badger are two parts of myself, very much parts of myself. So
Right.
there's Skunk, who's playful and spontaneous and um, uh, external processor,
Yeah. Right.
which is really helpful. I didn't realize how helpful that was. When you're only in one character's head, it's really nice to have a character that just says, here's what I'm
That's
thinking
what
all the time.
yeah. Right. Exactly.
um, and then Badger is he's more interior and always trying to be focused on his work and never feels like he's successful at that. I feel both of those things. Like I'd like to live Skunk's life all the time. Yet there's
Yeah.
another part of me that's like, no, I have my important rock work. I'm going to focus, focus, focus.
Right.
Today, I'm finally going to reach that level of focus that I've been striving for.
Yeah. No, I definitely, I think that was maybe part of it too, was my relation to Badger's need for like almost darkness and quiet, where he just wanted his cave. Um, and like we just had, I think that by the time I got your text, we just had a baby. He was maybe, I'm not sure he was a year old yet. He was our first. We have two now. Um, but it was that, like, I was like, oh yeah, there's a guy. All I wanted was my cave, to go to work. I missed my work and I missed, it's just a shock to have a baby and to be like, oh man, like my time isn't my own anymore. And this guy shows up at your door and you're like, oh, come on in, you're gonna wreck the place. And that feeling of like, that's why the cover is what it is too. It's like this nice homey sort of cover with just this one open blasting bit of sunshine and just this agent of chaos is about to come into this world. Like that was it was the first drawing I did, I think. There wasn't even a bunch of different roughs. It was like, that's
Oh.
the one. It's a dark sort of homey little place with this like square of light with him just kind of coming in. It was, yeah, I related to it a lot.
And I just thought, I started to think, what is Jon Klassen's process like for just deciding what he wants to illustrate? Because, I
I
mean,
wish it was
really.
a process. I wish there was something that could be called a process. As soon as you started out, like the way the mood you started out with and everything, it was like, all right. Like I read the whole book, of course, but I think I knew within like the first 5 pages that it was like, we got to do this for sure. Yeah.
Ah. Oh, wow.
If you do 1,000 spot illustrations, it's hard to get atmospheric with them. You can't take the time to, really put the work in. It's a different kind of illustration, I think. The spot illustrations are much more about like moments and the rhythm of the book being sort of broken up by those visual moments. And it was just, I've read books that I like that are done like that, but it's never been my strength. I think my strength is really kind of getting into the deep end of the atmosphere part. And that was what you provided so nicely anyway. It was like, well, I want to dive into that. We talked about that even after the book, where it was like, you know, these books are so immersive, and the illustrations felt like they had to be immersive.
Yeah. Well, it has been a really fun world to be in. And
Yeah.
I'm very happy to have it right now. Like I think,
Yeah,
oh,
I
it's
know.
just nice to hang out with Skunk and Badger.
Yeah.
Yay.
I know. I know. I felt like that even before this happened. It was nice to get into, and it was like, oh, I know where this is. I know what this feels like.
Yeah, I liked it too. I just didn't realize I was gonna need it as much as I was gonna need
Yeah.
it.